One of the literary world's greatest coups of recent history occurred back about 1968 when a publishing house in New York came out with an 1897 hardbound edition of the Sears and Roebuck catalog, a book that went on to become one of the year's bestsellers. Well, it seems that the same publisher, the Chelsea House Publishers in New York, has done the same this year. For now, friends, we have the collected works of Buck Rogers in the 25th century. A $12.50 book containing almost 400 pages of fascinating science fiction dating back to the late 20s and early 30s that would fascinate you today. With us in our studio is Tony Goodstone, who is one of the coordinators of the book, who had something to do with it, who is also a great Buck Rogers aficionado. And Tony, I wonder if you'd tell us a little something about this fascinating book.
Well, the book consists of 11 separate episodes, 2 of which are in color. There are 64 pages in full color. There's an introduction by Ray Bradbury, an autobiography by Buck Rogers, which was originally a giveaway in 1932 by the Kellogg Company on the radio program. The first radio script is in the book. And in the back there are some newspaper premiums, a map of Venus, Rocket Ranger application, pictures of some of the toys that were available.
Well, Buck Rogers was really quite a major comic strip back in that time. I know.
Yeah, it was. At its high point, it was syndicated in over 450 newspapers around the world.
Do you know very much about how they went about writing this script? I mean, most of these things are things that people couldn't comprehend back then. Even today, some of them seem far-fetched, the various situations that Buck Rogers and his pals used to get into.
Well, Phil Nolan was a brilliant writer. There's no doubt about it. He wrote a story called Armageddon 2419. It appeared in the pulps, and that story was so prophetic that John Dilley, president of the John F. Dilley Syndicate, saw the story, contacted Nolan, and recognized immediately that it would make a great comic strip. And he took Dick Calkins, who at that time was an artist working for the Syndicate, shaped the strip. They changed the name. At that time it was called Anthony Rogers, and they changed the name of the character to Buck, and the strip was born. And a year later it went into the Sundays, and it was an instant success.
Would have probably died had it been Anthony Rogers.
Right.
You have brought with you some of the Buck Rogers toys that were being sold in those days. I know a lot of this used to be through offers in the comic books, the comic strips, but suppose you show us a couple of these things. I see some ray guns that...
Well, these are some of the various toys. These were all available during 1935. This is the first rocket pistol.
Now that dates back to the mid-30s.
This actually came out in 1932, but it was available through 35. And you cock the handle, and a lot of people remember that sound.
That looks like something we might find in a toy store today. All of these designs. They really are very close to what has eventually come to pass, the spaceships.
Yeah. This is the disintegrator gun, and this is pictured in the book. And this has a little spark chamber that, I don't know if you can see it, the lights may wash it out, but this flashes in here. This would be the forerunner of the modern laser.
Tony, you have something around your neck. If we can get a shot of it, I'd like the audience to see that this is a Buck Rogers watch. How far back does that go?
This dates from 1935. It was only manufactured 1 year. And it's a beautiful pocket watch. Was made for children, sold for 98 cents. It was available, I think, at that time, possibly only through Sears, but I'm not too sure about that. So
but it's still running beautifully. Yeah.
It runs, keeps great time.
And you have skates.
And it has an embossed back. It has a one-eyed tiger man stamped into the back.
You also have skates, I see.
Yeah.
Now, do you think a skate like that would go over today?
Well, I don't know. I guess the kids today have stronger legs. This thing weighs about 5 pounds. You'd have to be a gorilla to skate in this, I think.
How do you get all of this?
Well, I advertise for it. People send letters, they dig stuff out, and I advertise in trade antique papers and collectors' papers, and there are a lot of things that I need that I haven't yet filled out in the archives.
If anybody has any Buck Rogers toys, maybe they will send them to you. How is this book doing? Do you think it's going to be a big seller?
Well, the first edition which in fact was a large printing, 25,000 copies, is almost completely sold out. And it's been out now about a month. And they've got the second printing is coming out very shortly.
Well, very good.
So-
Well, Tony, listen, thank you very much for showing us your Buck Rogers memorabilia. We dearly appreciate it. And if you're a Buck Rogers fan, here's the answer for you: the collected works of Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.